Across the United States, there are entire cities that no longer function the way they were designed to. Places where infrastructure still exists, but purpose has quietly disappeared. Streets remain, buildings remain, but something more important is gone. And for decades, we've asked the same question: why did these cities fail? But today, we're asking something different. What if they didn't fail at all? What if they were simply waiting to be rebuilt? When cities were engines of power. There was a time when cities were not just places to live. They were machines, economic engines designed to produce, distribute, and expand. In the early to mid-20th century, American cities like Detroit were among the most powerful urban centers in the world. This was not accidental. It was the result of a very specific alignment. Industry, labor, infrastructure, and policy, all moving in the same direction. Factories were not just buildings, they were ecosystems. Neighborhoods formed around them. Small businesses depended on them. Entire identities were built because of them. A city like Detroit did not simply grow, it accelerated.
The design of industrial cities. American industrial cities were not designed for permanence. They were designed for efficiency. Railroads cut through neighborhoods. Highways carved new paths across urban landscapes. Zoning laws separated living from working, sometimes by miles. At the time, this made sense. The goal was simple: maximize output. But this design came with a hidden cost. It created cities that were deeply dependent on a single system. And when that system began to weaken, the entire structure became vulnerable.
The slow collapse. Urban decline is rarely dramatic. It doesn't arrive with a single event. Instead, it unfolds. A factory closes, then another. Jobs begin to disappear. And as employment fades, so does population. Families leave in search of opportunity. Homes are abandoned. Shops close. Schools shrink. And eventually, entire districts fall silent. This is not failure in the traditional sense. It is a process, a gradual unraveling of everything that once held a city together.
It's time to go. We're really leaving, aren't we?
The geography of abandonment. In many American cities, abandonment is not random. It follows patterns. Certain neighborhoods decline faster than others. Infrastructure remains, but becomes underused. Buildings are left standing, but without function. And over time, these spaces transform into something else entirely. They become urban voids. Places that still exist physically, but no longer exist economically. And yet, they are not empty. They are filled with unrealized potential. The wrong question. For decades, urban policy has focused on one goal: revitalization. How do we bring cities back to what they once were? But this assumes something important, that the past is the ideal state. What if that assumption is wrong? What if abandoned cities are not broken versions of the past, but incomplete versions of the future? A different vision, rebuilding for the ultra-wealthy. Now imagine a completely different approach. Instead of restoring cities for mass population, they are redesigned for a much smaller group. Not millions of residents, but thousands or even hundreds. Individuals with access to extreme capital. In this model, the goal is no longer density, it is exclusivity. The new urban form. In a city rebuilt for billionaires, everything changes. Land is no longer scarce. Space becomes expansive. Former industrial zones transform into private districts. Entire blocks are reimagined as singular estates. Infrastructure is no longer public in the traditional sense. It becomes curated, controlled, optimized for privacy, security, and experience. Interiors as status architecture. Inside these spaces, architecture shifts from functional to expressive. Rooms are no longer designed for necessity. They are designed for identity. Materials become statements. Surfaces reflect wealth. Floors resemble liquid glass. Walls function as art. In this environment, living space is no longer just space. It is narrative.
This silent city. In this version of the city, something unusual happens. It becomes quieter. Not because it is abandoned, but because it is controlled. There are fewer people, fewer vehicles, less noise. The city still exists, but it operates under a completely different logic. Not growth, but precision.
The cost of reinvention. But every transformation carries a cost. When cities are redesigned for a few, they inevitably exclude the many. The question is no longer whether we can rebuild cities like this. The question is whether we should. Because in reshaping urban space, we are also reshaping society itself. Maybe the future of cities will not be defined by expansion, but by selection. Not every place will grow. Some will be repurposed, redesigned, reimagined, and perhaps the cities we once abandoned will become the most valuable spaces of all. But if that happens, one question will remain: who gets to belong there?